Hey YouTube, welcome to Beyond the Hype, where we look at the new season, new Pokemon, new moves, buff moves, see how they play, whether they are worth building or not building. So this is actually my third video that I'm shooting, which is now going to be my first video that I showcase. So we're out of order. This afternoon is going to be my first video shot, but it's going to be the second one because as I was shooting the third one, the PvPoke rankings have updated with the changes to reflect the moves that they were incorrect on. So PvPoke, there's some moves that we just knew what were going to be the energy and the damage energy and damage. So we knew that. Some of them were like, you got those like the damage will be lower, but the energy cost, you get more energy. So some of those are like, okay, we got to assume what that is. So PvPoke made some assumptions. And the assumptions were off on a lot of things. And all three of them they are off on are the Pokemon that I used. Steelix is going to be in this video. This afternoon's video is now going to be Regidrago with that Dragon Breath Breaking Swipe that got reworked. And then the tomorrow morning is Wigglytuff with the Charm doesn't do as much damage. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to go over the Steelix and how it is essentially just almost useless. In fact, if you look at the moves, it's saying not even to use it, and I'll explain why in this video. But the ranks have completely been worked because Breaking Swipe and Dragon Claw are now worse than projected. Charm is now worse than projected. So a lot of the dragons and a lot of the fairies have decreased. There's other Pokemon, other moves on here like Aura Sphere went up way higher than expected. So let's go look at the new rankings. I'll explain why stuff has moved up and down, and we will just quickly go over the rankings, go over Steelix and the Dragon Tail, which is not even the recommended moveset. I'll show you that now, and go from there. And then we can roll into Regidrago and Wigglytuff this afternoon. Regidrago this afternoon, Wigglytuff tomorrow morning, with me looking at the old PvPoke rankings and assuming they were going to drop, and I correctly predicted that drop, and I explained why in the video, so check those out. Okay, so what has happened in Polygon Still Super? So the things that have not changed, most of the top list has not changed, right? We still have, I explained in my top teams video why these Pokemon are ranked so high. I explained in my top 50 analysis why these Pokemon are so high. Nothing has changed to these Pokemon, and have not changed since as of 4 p.m. Eastern yesterday. We knew Rockslide was getting buffed. We knew the Polygon was getting Metal Sand. We knew that Paraball Charge did not get nerfed. Did not expect Togekiss to jump up to number 7. It got Peck and Aura Sphere buffs. So Peck, first of all, Togekiss is a flying Pokemon, so you get same type attack bonus on buff. So now you're looking at a 4 energy per turn and what is just a 4 and 3. So it's a standard 3 damage per turn, 4 energy per turn, which is a pretty standard strong moveset. But now because you're half flying, you get same type attack bonus. So this is now doing 3.6 damage. So right off the bat, really, really nice fast move. Stats, okay, nothing outstanding, just your average attack, defense, and stamina. Not a glass cannon, not too glassy, just kind of like middle ground there. You're a fairy flying, so you have 5 weaknesses, 6 resistances, electric, ice, poison, rock, steel. So lots of weaknesses, a lot of those in the meta, but double resisting ground, dragon, double resisting 4 things: bug, dragon, fighting, and ground. That's a lot of nice double resistances there. Single resisting dark and grass. And now it has Aura Sphere, which was the community day move, which was basically useless for the longest time, and the probably Dazzling Gleam, right? Yeah, because you want that same type of attack bonus nuke. So it's the same type of attack bonus nuke. 14 turns to get to him. 14's not crazy for 108, not amazing, but not bad at all. But Aura Sphere is now a 40 for 80, even no same type attack bonus required. 10 turn move, 80 damage. So being able to do like decent damage with the Pecks and get an 80 damage move at 10 is pretty good. I think it's probably getting so high just based on its typing, quite honestly, because there's like, yes, Peck is a good move. It's not like the most broken move. It's a pretty standard 3 damage, 4 energy with same type attack bonus, but there's a lot of Pokemon which have that. Again, it's a 10 turns to get to Aura Sphere and 10 turns to get to an 80 turn move. Again, 80 is not crazy. I like, again, if you're around 10, you're going to see this afternoon, Regidrago's 12 and 11 is 120 damage. There's a lot of Pokemon who have 100 plus damage moves or 90 to 100 plus damage moves at 10. So 80 for 10 is not crazy. Dazzling Gleam obviously gains into attack bonus 14, 108. Decent overall again, not amazing. So I don't know if it's ranked number 7. This is what I'm gonna have to use. I've seen a couple content creators put it out saying, showcasing it already, saying it's amazing. So this is what I'm gonna have to test out, and I'll test it out this week now. Otherwise, a lot of the same old Pokemon in the top here. What you were seeing in particular, let's actually go with what has not changed. Very happy about. Ninetales, the Ember is remaining at 4.5 energy per turn. So that was correctly predicted, which means now you can nuke these weather balls. Other people are asking me, like, what about solar beams? Like, for coverage, like, yeah, maybe it is 18 turns. I still think you'd rather just have a 14 and 12 turn move where you can nuke, even if it's resisted, it's still going to do insane. So I'd still run Overheat if it myself. I did see one with Psyshock today, so it's up to you how you want to run it. But as you were seeing right now, outside of, the rise in Carbink and Bastiodon, rise of Empoleon because of Metal Sound for sure. The rise of Carbink and Bastiodon because of the Rock Slide and Smackdown buffs, and Togekiss with this like Peck and Aura Sphere. It's last season's meta. Stunfisk, Clodsire, Dusknoir, Lapras, Credilli, Corsola, Morpeko, Diggersby, Jellicent. I'm skipping over Machoke. Jellicent, Fortress, Matang, Gastrodon now with Water Pulse, Marowak. Ninetales is new because of that Ember. Primeape, Runerigas, Malamar, Pangoro. This is Azumarill. This is last season's meta. What was supposed to be this season's meta has dropped substantially. There's your Regidrago. I'm actually surprised it is the first dragon still, but all the other dragons, as you can see here, are like all within the same range, just because the Dragon Claw and Breaking Swipe are much more so than we predicted. But Dragon Breath still got that increase again, the 3-4, right? 3 damage, 4 energy per turn, same type attack bonus. So it's got what Peck is now, right? So a lot of Pokemon have that 3-4 damage energy. But there is all your dragons. Wigglytuff, because Charm is not 9 energy, is 8 energy, down to 40. It's pretty low. It still plays a lot better. You're going to see that video tomorrow morning. I still actually like Wiggly. It actually plays a lot better as a Charmer that actually gets the moves quicker. But those moves are now much, much slower. We were predicting straight 4s for Swift and straight 5s for Icy Wind. But that is not the case, anywhere close to the case. So much, much lower. Steelix. I'm showcasing Steelix with Dragon Tail because the Dragon Tail assumption was, why would you make it the same energy and damage per turn as Dragon Breath when Dragon Breath is a 1-turn move? You needed to give Dragon Tail a little more energy like it had been in the past, because otherwise those 1-turn move Pokemons will just always use Dragon Breath. So we thought it'd be 4.33. It is not. It is 4, and you feel it. So I'll go over the team right now, but you feel how slow that Dragon Tail is. You were supposed to get to these Earthquakes in straight 5s. It's now 6-5, 6-5. Breaking Swipe is now not usable because it's a 50 for 50. We thought it would be at like 45. So it is not usable as a bait move really anymore. So the recommended moveset on Steelix is the moveset from last season. Thunderfang, Psychic, Crunch. So again, we'll go over this very quickly in my video about why it's not as strong. But for the rest of the meta, it's more or less the same. Dragons will still be there. Some of these fairies will still be there, but not as much as they were before. I still don't like, it's still, I don't know. Like, I ran into against a Como today. I think Como is underranked. I ran into a Como today and I was like, oh, this is a dominant Pokemon. So I think these dragons are maybe now underranked, especially that Charm got nerfed a bit. So I'll have to see how the meta plays out. But for the most part, it's going to be a meta of the same old. Oh, I guess the other thing with dragons is Steels is still pretty strong, right? Corviknight, Empoleon, Bastion, and 2 Empoleons in the top, right? So we have 4 Steel Pokemons in the top 6, even though 1 is double. So yeah, those are the changes. I ran Dragon Tail, recognized that it is a 4 energy per turn and not that 4.33, which as you can see here, that is why I ran Crunch, because Breaking Swipe got that nerf. It wasn't even useful to run Breaking Swipe. So I ran it with Dragon Tail, Crunch, Earthquake, paired it with Corsola and Azumarill. I started Azumarill with Hydro Cannon. This was so funny. I started Azumarill Hydro Cannon. I went 4-0 with the team, but not because of the Hydro Cannon. I used Hydro Cannon like once, And then I needed Ice Beam I still won both those matchups, but I needed Ice Beam. So I put in Ice Beam. Ice Beam's not Legacy. That is from my Lapras there. So then I switched to Ice Beam, and then I lost 4 straight. So I was just like, not because of the move. It's just kind of funny how it worked. Anyways, so Steelix. Should you use Steelix with Dragon Tail? No. And, when I was going to talk about it even before PvPoke changed it back to Thunderfang, basically what I was going to talk about, and I'll talk about it a bit here in case you are still thinking about potentially using Dragon Tail. What makes Steelix very strong, especially when it was using Psychic Fangs, is with the Thunder Fang damage or like a Dragon Tail damage before they changed the damage. So now it's Dragon Tail's much faster charging but less hard hitting. But the strength with Steelix, especially the Shadow Steelix, was if you're using that Thunder Fang and you're using that Dragon Tail, basically you're using moves that did decent fast move damage. You had that Psychic Fangs that lowered the defense, and then you can just kind of combo that with your bulk and really put pressure on your opponent when you lower their defense for a second time and you're doing a lot of fast move pressure. The problem now is with Dragon Tail, you're in no man's land, right? Because you don't have the damage to make it worth it to run Psychic Fang, because now your damage is only 3 damage per turn. And you don't even get same type attack bonus on this. So unlike the other dragons that we talked about that are getting 3.6 and Peck on Togekiss that's getting 3.6, you're only getting that 3 dragon on Steelix because Steelix is not a dragon. It's a steel ground. So the damage is not there, but that is okay if you were getting the energy, because if you were getting the energy, you now have a same type attack Earthquake that you were getting to in 15 that was doing 140 damage I think 140 with or without, let me see if it's with or without stab, shadow here. Steelix is, without shadow. With shadow, you would have had 158.4 damage. And if you're using the non-shadow, it would be 132, right? So imagine getting to 132, or if you're running the shadow, 158 damage move in what was supposed to be 15. That is very, very valuable. That is a nuke that will almost nuke pretty much everything within the Great League at 15 turns. So it wouldn't nuke everything, because actually some things could live it. But with the Dragon Tail Earthquake combo, you could have just comboed it. But the problem is now, because Dragon Tail is only 4, they made a mirror of Dragon Breath, even though it's a 1 versus 3 turn move. You're now getting to the Earthquakes in 6-5, 6-5. So you added 1 to the first one and 1 to the third one, which means it's now 18-15, 18-15. So it's not as strong. And then at the same time, Break and Swipe is now nerfed, so it's not as strong. So you're now just in that no man's land zone where it's just your Dragon Tail is not doing enough damage because you don't get same type attack bonus on it. You're not getting the energy you need to get to the Earthquakes to nuke fast enough that you're getting a little slower here. Now it's 15 is a middle turnish move, but now 18 is a slower move, right? So it's just a brutal combo in both scenarios here to make Steelix just go back to Thunderfang, because in the Thunderfang is 4, it's the opposite. It's 4 damage per turn and 3 energy per turn. And that is why Steelix with Shadow is recommended more, because the Shadow, you get the same type, not Shadow, you get the Shadow bonus. So now that Thunder Fang becomes 4.8 damage, and now you just rely on your bulk, the Thunder Fang damage at 4.8 with the Shadow bonus, and Psychic Fanging your opponent and just lowering their defense, and then just comboing that, using that great defense stamina combo you have. You're very, very bulky. You can definitely take charge moves, and you just combo that and play it the old way. So unfortunately, this was one that was it was going to be a really, 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 really strong answer, because you had the Dragon Tail, which was going to hit super effective against all those dragons out there. You're a Steel, so you were going to resist the fairies that got buffed. You're a Steel, so you were going to resist the rock throw users and smackdown users that got buffed. You had the Earthquake for the rock. You had coverage just for poisons and stuff that you resist and poisons in the meta. So it went from like a super strong Pokemon that was going to be very, very meta relevant to now not unusable, because it's still like in the top 40 Pokemon and it still has play. But now you're basically using it as the Thunderfang user that you used in past seasons. So a complete change to how this Pokemon was going to be played and how it's actually going to be played this season. So it's a little unfortunate. Yeah, so we're back to Thunderfang on Steelix. And I think, again, could you use Dragon Tail? You can. I just don't think it makes much sense for the reasons that I just kind of mentioned. You're kind of no man's land in the damage there with the Earthquake. You're not getting to it fast enough to nuke. So kind of a tough one for Steelix here. But yeah, stay tuned this afternoon. Again, I'm now filming this at 11 o'clock at night to go up at 7:30 in the morning. I filmed the Regidrago at about 8:30, and I filmed the Wigglytuff at about 9:30, and then PvPoke like updated at like 10. So reworking the order here. I will cover the old rankings, but the analysis, again, you can skip the beginning parts if you want, but the analysis is basically sound, and then the Beyond the Hypes on those two, where I kind of explain like, we expected this with Break and Swipe, but it's worse, so Regidrago is going to be worse. We expected Charm to be here, but it's not, so this is worse. So it's one of those things where the analysis still makes sense. I predicted they would go down in the rankings. They did here. So check those out later, but we'll go forward with the rankings moving forward. So what that means for future Pokemon is I don't think there's really a point to cover many of the other dragons. Regidrago, I covered the dragon with Regidrago, and we'll kind of, Regidrago is ranked 32. Zweilous is ranked 34. Dragonair is ranked 35. Dragonite is ranked 37. Guzzlord is ranked 38. Giratina is ranked 46. And Como is ranked 55. And Kingdra is ranked 57. So we have all the dragons basically clustered there, because they're all going to play very similar. It's all kind of relying on their charge moves. Some have nukes, others just have spammy-ish moves. So I don't think there's a point to cover other dragons. Empoleon I will cover. I've gone against it. I've used it in once already. It is so strong. Not surprising as the 3 and 4 ranked. It definitely deserves that. I probably will try a Carbink or Bastion. I hate doing it, but they're the 2nd and 6th ranked. I think Carbink I'll try because I played with Bastion last season, so I'll try Carbink. Togekiss, I will try. Yes, I saw Yonkus, and yes, I saw Home Slice use them, and yes, I saw both of them pumping them up. I would like to try it myself. Again, I have my hesitations if it's deserving to be the number 7 ranked Pokemon, basically number 6 because Empoleon is 3 and 4. I understand its strength here, but we'll see. So I'll test that out for sure. But then what do I do here? Like, let me know in the comments below what you want me. Oh, of course, Ninetales. I'm gonna definitely check out Ember Ninetales. And Gastrodon Water Pulse. I wanted to test that on its own just to see how Water Pulse plays. So I'm trying to figure out the Beyond the Hypes for the rest of the week. We'll have to do, so we got the 2 coming. We'll have to do Togekiss. We will have to do Gastrodon with Water Pulse. We will have to do Ninetales with Ember. We're not going to do the dragons again. I've done Steelix. I've done Wiggly. I've done a dragon. Again, there's no really point of using Gyarados for Dragon Breath because that's kind of the same thing. And then Murkrow, I don't even know if I have a Shadow one. If I do, I can test it, but I don't even know if I have that. And then you're down to like 67. There's like Dodrio at 73. And then more dragons, Altaria at 77 and Goodra at 78. But man, oh man, this meta is just turning into the repeat of last season. This meta is turning into a repeat of last season with a little more steel at the front end. Corviknight, Empoleon, Bastiodon. A little more steel. I still think there's going to be more dragons this season. So I know a lot of them are ranked in like the 30 to 40 now. I still think we're going to see a good amount of dragons. Dragon Energy was a good move. Dragon Energy is a good move, and you get to it in 12 and 11 on Reggie. It still plays a lot better. And again, I'll go over that this afternoon. So I still think they have play, a lot of these dragons, and I still think Wiggly has play. So it's not like they're out of the meta. It maybe not as front and center as they once were. But yeah, man, otherwise this is the same meta as last season. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let me know your first thoughts with this meta. Are you happy? Comment below. Are you happy with the energy on some of these moves? Did you I know PvPoke and others assume Breaking Swipe, Dragon Claw, and Charm would be better in the energy department. Are we happy or not happy about that? Are we happy or not happy about it's gonna be very similar to last season meta with a few more Pokemon that we maybe need to worry about, like Empoleon for sure you're gonna need to worry about this season. But are we happy that it's gonna look pretty similar to last season? Is there any other Pokemon that you think got buffed that I need to do? Again, I saw Venusaur today and it took me out. You're gonna see that this afternoon. I saw Venusaur today and it took me out real hard. So there are other Pokemon that are usable. Whether we use them in the first week here, that's up for debate. Yeah, I don't see really any other Pokemon that got these Weather Ball. I'm going to test Ninetales as a Weather Ball user. The next one is Aurorus. Aurorus just has all those weaknesses, but I don't know. So yeah, these moves are kind of throwing me off. Not throwing me off. It's just like when you expected a meta and you were here's why it's bothering me. We spent like a week. We got the moves like a couple weeks ago, and then I did like 2 50-minute in-depth videos on the top 100 Pokemon with assumptions of certain energy, going like, okay, the meta is going to be dragons and fairies, and that means there's going to be more steels, which means there's going to be more ground and water, which means there's going to be this and that. And then in the ending, it's going to be like, oh, these are nowhere near as strong as we thought they were going to be. The meta is going to be last season's meta. So it's just like crap. So I think it's just like frustrated about that. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, yeah, drop those in the comments below. I don't think I did a lot of videos here. Yeah, I think this is my last battle on my 4 losses here. I don't think Steelix, again, Thunderfang Steelix probably has some play, but it probably not much. Corsola and Azumarill are probably highly-ish ranked, top 40 anyways. Corsola top 13, not top 13, it's number 13. And Azumarill was at what, 30? Yeah, maybe it dropped a bit because of all the dragons dropping, so it just doesn't sim as well against the top anymore. But it's still going to definitely have some play. So Azumarill, Corsola, definitely on the top list of Pokemon with play. But yeah, we'll go from there and see what else we can play with this week and test it all out. Have some fun before we need to start worrying about anything else. Okay. As this finishes off, I'll say thanks for watching. Welcome to all those who are new. I promise it's not always this rambly. It's just a lot of rambles on the first sort of week here. I think I mentioned this in my other video. Charizard banking a CMP to coming in to win that CMP tie is a high level play that you could not do last season because you were worried that the move would not show up because of the 1-turn lag. No, I didn't check every single time, but from almost every time I remembered, it seemed like the 1-turn lag was not there. So maybe when they friggin' brightened up and made the catching ball a little brighter and they made Psywave blinding, they maybe fixed the 1-turn lag with it. So who knows? Seems to be better at the start of the season, so that is a positive. Let's hope that it remains and no other bugs show up because of it, because Niantic has a very bad history of fixing one bug just for 2 more to show up. Anyways, that is it. This is my 3rd video. It is late. Time for bed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.